Come, 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 come. Come, 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 come. There you go. And just like that, you're all fine. Hey, hey. Sorry about the lateness, and I'm sorry about the stream refresh. It's the same thing that happened last stream. I started Streamlabs normally, and then I remembered we're going to be playing Outer Wilds, for which I need to start it in administrator mode for it to work properly. And I forgot, and I only just remembered the last second, so I had to close everything and restart. Unfortunately, the way YouTube works, it makes it a bit of a pain in the ass to do that. If I was just on Twitch, then it would be as simple as, like, go off, go on in, like, 5 seconds. But on YouTube, I have to exit out the previous stream, close it, unlist it, create a new one, copy settings. It's this whole thing. Hey, everyone. How's everyone doing? I've got some really exciting news. We're up for another chill stream today. Tomorrow we do politics in the morning. But before that, tonight we're going to be speaking with Epoch Philosophy. Gonna be fun, gonna be cool, gonna be fresh, gonna be heezy. Do you know what that means? No, of course you don't. Pathetic. But it's going to be that anyway. A lot of fun, basically. And additionally, soon, I'm very happy to say we're going to be rolling out another wave of merch, about the same size as the previous one. We even have new designs that we're going to be testing out soon. And with this batch of merch, we actually got a test hoodie. So we should be able to have hoodies on the line soon. Just lots of work to come. Now, none of this is out yet. So the only shirts that are available are like 10 remaining extra small shirts from the previous batch. And yeah, but we'll add to that soon. We'll add everything to the, the appropriate channels.
It's pretty much just this headache medication.
How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Conversation? How's everyone doing? Conversation? I don't know if I can share the design. Yeah, sorry about the echo. There we go. Just cycling through a few things. Ain't nothing. Leftist audio. Yeah, of course. Would you buy a Vosh hoodie? Yes, depends. No. We have a design. This one is going to be a little bit more online than the previous one. Okay? I can say that, right, Hyena? That's agreeable? Yeah? It's a little more online, a little more I'm a Vosh fan than the previous one. We have to vary the content just a little bit. Hyena, what do you think? Can we show anything? You can show them if you want, really? All right, okay. I mean, it's fine by me. We'll start testing it soon. There are still some alterations we might want to make, but yeah, this is not final. Okay, it's not final. Anyway, here you go. We made a couple edits for shirt readability, but I think it's a pretty sick design. It's not of me, of course. It's of my alter ego Vaush. But I think it's quite nice. Now, I do think this would look great in a t-shirt and on a hoodie. Will you be paying the original artist? How yes. Yes, I did. Didn't I wait? Isn't this the person I paid twice, Hyena? Or is this the person I paid one? There was one artist that I double paid accidentally, and then I just let them keep it. You accidentally paid twice the amount? Yeah. Some 4-digit number or something. I don't know. Work was put in. Okay? Tried our best. You paying once or doing royalties? I'm just paying once because I really, really, really hate keeping track of numbers. I would rather just pay once. We agree to that up front. Yeah. I've never actually, I've never actually commissioned art. What I do is I take existing fan art and then I pay lump sum, you know? Which, I mean, you can hate me for that if you want, but whatever. Can we have sticker merch too? It's on its way. Anyway, let's talk to somebody. What happens if I get socked in the face in public for watching this? For wearing this? Yeah, well, you know. You learn to fight back, okay? Yeah, socialism is when you pay your workers 2 times for every 1 work they do. That's what socialism means. Will this increase my chances of getting laid? Yes. We are injecting masculine pheromones into every single piece of material that is going to have this printed on it. It will exude. Frankly, it's unethical to wear. I mean, you're basically wearing a love potion, and anyone can catch a whiff. I mean, your mom, if you walk by your mom, oh, I hope you live out of the house, okay? So you have to be very careful with these items. This is peril, all right? Just make sure. Oh, there's a new emote too. Yeah. There you go. Have fun with the big-eyed Pepe.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much. Just getting ready to embarrass myself playing some video games. Pretty standard stuff for my stream.
All right, man. Outer Wilds, is it?
Oh, I see you've done your research before coming in.
Yeah, I before the stream started, I was talking in chat with a couple people. I told them you should play Disco Elysium. I've been playing Disco Elysium lately, and it is incredibly good.
That's a good game. I won't play it on stream though. There's too much talking. I'd be talking over them all the time.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. That's true.
Hold on. I'm gonna turn you up a little bit on my end. You're a smidge quiet. Can you say something?
Hello.
That's a little better. Okay. So what's up? What do you got on your mind?
Well, so definitely by far, my audience has requested me to try to get a hold of you and set something up, do a collaboration. So I'm happy we're here. I didn't really know too much about you. I watched oh, what was that discussion you had with she's an anarchist. I can't remember.
Anarcho-Pack.
Yes, correct. That's her. And
Yes.
I watched that and I actually quite enjoyed that. I like that. She's a little bit more into the theory and philosophy stuff, like I am. So that was kind of cool. And other than that, I've just seen miscellaneous clips and stuff. So and I've seen Twitter stuff about you, and it's
Oh yeah,
almost never good.
definitely a representative sample of my stream and the opinions I hold right there. No, the conversation with Anarcho-Pack was very nice. She's very bright, very much into the theory, which I appreciate. Hopefully a slightly more accurate representative sample of my content of those Twitter clips, but you know, one way or another, I'm here for it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and that's, and I imagine we'd probably get into that. So I suppose we can kind of get into that. Yeah, I mean, there's just an entire really weird ideological sort of political fetish online that I think is quite harmful. And I think definitely Anarcho-Pack, someone like that, definitely does a pretty good job at, I think, kind of avoiding that and sort of getting away from that. And that's kind of my goal, I suppose, as well. I actually came from a pretty political background, I would say. Like I was more interested, I believe, in practical politics, if you will. So sort of like kind of maybe what you do, political analysis, commentary.
I would like to believe that most of what I do derives from an appreciation for the practical matter of how to get as many people as possible on your side. That has always been first and foremost what I'm concerned with. When you said there was an ideological plague that you Anarcho-Pack have definitely avoided, what were you referring to exactly?
I would say sort of the best way to maybe put it into general terms is just almost the really weird online nature of politics, right? Of this aesthetic, right? This lifestyle that you can subscribe to. And I suppose I'll admit Anarcho-Pack is a very explicit anarchist, so perhaps she's not totally like against that, but I see something online. There's like it's a really jumbled mess of certain political factions, and these factions aren't really they don't know what they're really talking about half the time. So I know a lot of people on my stream talked about how you talk a lot about tankies.
Nobody online who does leftist politics has any idea what they're talking about. I actually at this point I unironically believe that liberals and conservatives and neo-Nazis have a more cohesive understanding of their own ideology than your average online leftist does. It's unfortunate, and I think it's probably because if you're well-grounded ethically, you know, and you've heard the right arguments, I think it's pretty easy to fall in with leftism. I mean, God knows we're right, so that's to our benefit. But I think very few people actually have a rigorous understanding of why they believe the things they're told to believe within our communities, and it leads to them being these insufferable ideologues who are rigidly obsessed with whatever quirk of mind, whatever framework they happen to be introduced through, and anything else is incompatible with that, even if ideologically there's not even a contradiction between the two sets of ideas, you know?
No, 150%. That's also kind of that can be a problem when you get into sort of the theory community as well. And that's something I've definitely strayed away from. What happens is, people only have a set amount of time in their life to read, to do whatever. And so what usually happens is they say, I'm a Marxist or I'm whatever. I'm going to I'm going to educate myself on Marxism. And what ends up happening is there's a vertical worship apparatus on how you approach Marxism, right? So the goal when you want to read Marx, I think, or Lenin or anyone really, is it's not a Bible, right? Telling you explicitly how to go about things. It's to give context about a current historical situation. And
And to
maybe
feel
there's
smart.
well, some people, yes, that's definitely it. I would like to think that I would like to think most people who take the time to really read theory, it's a little bit more critical than that. But definitely, I would say sort of online Marxist, right? That people call tankies. That's 100% correct. I try to avoid a lot of sort of online. I want to say like maybe online lingo or alienating lingo because I think there are a lot of very well intentioned Marxist Leninists that again, they only have X amount of time to read, and so they're just going to pick what they're going to pick to read, what they already sort of ideologically subscribe to,
Mhm.
and it's almost like a reinforcing mechanism. Rather, they're not reading critically or anything like that. So
Yeah, the
I see
Bible
that.
line really resonates with me because I feel like when if you're a Marxist, and I certainly subscribe to many of the ideas that he prescribed, maybe not all of them, but a great many of
Yeah,
them, particularly historical materialism. Great idea.
yeah,
And it's very frustrating to me that the tenet of this ideology, fundamentally, is that human action, civilizational change, are derived from a given set of material conditions. It's not about ideas we hold in our hearts. Those
right,
ideas can be modulated or altered through the conditions in which we live. That's not to say that ideas are entirely worthless, but often they're a product of these environments. Ultimately, the environment is what matters, and from that we must derive our analysis. I think that's like very boilerplate. I mean, that's almost an elementary school reading of Marx, but I think it's accurate up to the highest level. And it's frustrating to me when people who ostensibly believe in his ideas are completely opposed to the concept of approaching modern economic and social problems from a new angle. They're
right.
dedicated to Marxism or to Leninism, or more accurately, their understandings of it, to a degree of almost religious orthodoxy, where they know these terms and concepts, and any deviation from them is sacrilegious, even if the deviations are meant to better actualize the outcomes that Marx would have pushed for.
That's no, that's actually very very well said. That's exactly right. So yeah, no, it's the question is what I guess what do we do with that, right? I'd imagine you said that's like your concern. How do we get people to your side, or maybe another language? How do we sort of build relationships with people where we can connect with them and try to I know this is sort of quote unquote online lib language, but build a sort of common ground, especially like man among leftists. Like we don't have to apply that necessarily to people who are like fucking Steven Crowder or anything like
Yeah,
that,
but
but
at least within our own house, right? I mean, you'd
sure.
think.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually talking on stream. I give them a little shout out. They do the same thing, but Plastic Pills, the YouTube channel, he has a pill pod. The podcast is called Pill Pod. I was talking to a guy named Victor Bruzoni. He's a PhD candidate at I can't remember what university in Canada, but he was essentially talking about that and how he thinks he's going to school for political theory, and
Mhm.
he kind of follows the term of like a nonpartisan leftist. And I think the best way to describe my immediate politics is probably just a nonpartisan leftist. I really do not like getting into the over ideological sort of gatekeeping or like sort of sectarian sort of politics. That's definitely not my mo. So that's always been my question too, as well. And it's always been how do you do that? And I actually I don't think how we're kind of practicing politics online, what's going on, right, in the digisphere, is anywhere near adequate at all, clearly.
Yeah, I would say so. I think so. Initially, my goal when I started streaming was I want to be a leftist who can show people it's possible to be a little edgy, a little provocative, a little fast on the fire, you know? Because at that time all the leftists online, the visible ones at least, were, with all due respect to them, I'm not really shit talking them here, but they're like oversensitive theater kids who sit in front of bisexual lighting and give video essay lectures. There wasn't very much in the way of diversity of tactics, whereas the right had people who did video essays and debate lords. They had politicians, pundits, people who did news shows, podcasts. They had everything. They had the whole of the internet felt like it was in their hand. And I wanted to show it's possible to spread out a little bit. And at first, I think I was doing fine in that respect. But the issue is, I think a lot of people are attached to leftism as an aesthetic, and I deviate from some of those aesthetic trends. And I got more and more frustrated with that. You've probably noticed I've alienated a few groups online, you know, just a couple in my day.
To say the least.
Yeah, and initially my goal was left unity. I don't think that's my goal anymore. I feel like that's kind of a pipe dream. I'm at the point now where I feel like in terms of utility towards socialism, like if you take a person's value and assess how effective they will be in assisting our push towards socialism, I actually believe your average social democrat online is much better, I mean exponentially better for that, than your average Marxist-Leninist. That the online left is carried almost exclusively by the quality of its ideas, but the actual people and their ability to engage in discourse is so terrible that they're, in many cases, being detrimental to the movement. And it's so sad, you know? Like, how
Yeah.
are there lefties biting the bullet on Dengism and the Uyghur Muslim genocide? Like, how is this even a thing? Like, this, not even to speak of the ethics of the situation, this makes us look terrible. There are a lot of people online who would otherwise be amicable to our ideas. They go online and they take a look at what lefties are up to, and there is a legitimate disagreement over whether or not an unprecedented security state apparatus being combined with an unprecedented decrease in fertility rates amongst a previously persecuted ethnic minority constitutes a genocide. Like, what? My God, do we... What, have we given up on the workers here? What are we doing? Why are we having this conversation, you know?
Right, I get that, and that's sort of, you know, I will say this is kind of, so far this is kind of your brand, your job to do that. But I really think whenever it comes to stuff like this, like the Uyghur genocide thing, I think the goal whenever it comes to sort of online politics, or at least the goal that I've kind of tried to carve out, is to actually kind of like move past this quote unquote like politics. I think learning, I suppose, and getting a little bit more involved theoretically and reading and stuff. I think I've kind of jumped to the point where like even any sort of minute discussion that you would have under the sort of context of online politics is going to be alienating to any degree. I would never debate or never talk to anyone, quote unquote, about the Uyghur genocide. I think what would end up happening is the exact opposite of an intention of like some mutual understanding or something like that, because there's such hardcore like ideological sort of barriers there, right?
Oh,
And I
for
think
sure.
the thing that
I just don't
breaks
want to
down
cede the
those,
territory to them, you know? That's my big worry, that, like,
well,
if we don't push against
yeah,
it, they're the ones who get to be the poster boys for the left. In a way, they already are. Most online leftist communities that aren't like social democrat stuff, like ContraPoints, I mean real leftist communities, most of them are controlled by tankies. Despite them being a minority of the broader left, they have a vastly disproportionate amount of control over our optics. And I worry that's because a lot of people are afraid of leftist infighting. They're afraid to excise these communities. And I think we should be more willing to do so. Let them go do their red fash thing in some other social circles so they can stop polluting ours, you know?
well, I see. I totally get the impetus of that, right? Because I am with you here on the whole. I think you had the other thing that I did see on your channel. You had someone on like a Twitter, someone from Twitter about the Uyghur genocide or something like that. Um, recently,
Wait, what were
I
they
don't know.
like?
I have no idea. I just thought, no, totally no offense at all. I thought it was a terrible fucking idea to do. Like if you really like, because I'm in the sort of same boat. I think if I'm, you know, familiar with your politics, I think that claiming that the Uyghur genocide or whatever is going on in China, to say the least, there's some sketchy stuff going on, and I think we should
Yeah,
probably,
to say the least, I would say.
yeah, probably. And but I think to me, like, I'm not necessarily worried about the whole sort of like left optics, I suppose. Because like, look how like maybe if we can examine frameworks, so theory is kind of good for. Like we're discussing this in a sort of way that like indicates a form of like warfare, right? This is how like debate or anything in almost Western civilization is almost ever discussed under in a sort of linguistic manner. Is it's an act of like war, right? Like we can't let these groups, um, totally destroy this left movement towards socialism or anything like that. I think that if we're going to approach these things kind of critically, I think the goal is how do we avoid that? How do we engage politically without the sort of verbal warfare sort of symbolic setup, if you will. That's a
Well,
good way to put it.
sure, but
I'm yeah,
I mean, for me, it's all about the outcomes, right? I'm limited by the types of things that I'm good at. I don't make video essays. I do debates on
right.
live stream. I'm good at those, so I'm fine doing that. I don't think that any previous methods of excising these communities have been very effective, though. This could seem a little bit self-centered. I don't have any hard numbers on this, but judging from the attitudes I've seen online, I would say that right now I've probably contributed the greatest possible amount of antagonism towards what I would call tankies that I've ever seen in the online left. That me using my community against them has been more fruitful in drawing that line than anything I've seen before. I don't think any other content creator has ever been as active as I have. And I mean, if this method isn't effective, something else will need to be, because we can't completely cede control of the optics of our movement to authoritarians. Something has to be done. I don't think it's possible to shout louder than them, though, because if you're in a crowd with 100 people, 99 of whom are shouting for peace and one is shouting for war, that one is going to sound a hell of a lot louder proportionally. I think it's really important to distance ourselves from these people. But if you think the atmosphere of antagonism is ineffective, it certainly isn't changing their minds, but I'll be honest,
Right.
I feel like they're lost causes. What do you
Well,
think the best option is?
so okay. So there's I think the best approach that we can probably take is to try to understand the parameters of our control, what we can control, and how we can control that, right? Like we're talking right now about politics as an abstraction that's totally separate to us. I think for the most part, we can't really control politics all that much, and that's something that as very like Western liberals, me, you, even all the online people who say that, the very anti-lib Marxists and stuff, they're liberals too. They live like liberals, whatever. But like we're all living in this world. We are typical sort of like Western liberals, and one of those things that we do, one of the sort of markers and markings of that is that we kind of have inflated egos a little bit. I find, and
Oh, sure.
that we yeah we will, and we think that we can kind of control more things than what we really can. So, and I think the sort of larger ideological discussion on how politics will operate on an institutional level, like whether fucking like is AOC a sellout or what do we do about people like AOC? I think that's a really I think that's a kind of a lost cause. I think we can talk about those things, right? But I think that we should have at least no illusions that we're not really doing a lot. So I think the approach that I take is to make art, right? That sounds really I used to, I've read Herbert Marcuse months ago, and I he would say this, and I remember thinking, I'm like, man, that's really okay, that's kind of cringe. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna solve these political problems with art. Well, it's not to solve political problems. I think that art is something that can kind of break down these really, really, really rigid, heavy ideological antagonisms. One of the only things that can. And I think the goal is to try to understand what we can control and what we cannot control, and not to moralize people, and try to kind of facilitate and build a relationship, because those are the things that you can control,
Well, we
and
can
those
control
are the
public opinion, certainly, can't we? At least I can, to an extent,
well,
right? With the size of my community. It's important to be able to wrangle in the worst elements of your image. I mean, if it weren't for that, we would essentially be giving up any possibility of effective outreach to people who aren't already leftists.
can you control public opinion? Well, I never. Well,
Like our
I
optics, right? I mean, we can, like, the The right doesn't have to do this much because they're a bunch of, you know, orcs. They don't have to look good. They just attract
Right.
people who adhere to their ideas. But for us, so here's an example, a really good one, I think. I feel like the online left was massively hamstrung early on in the 2010s because of this Tumblr SJW culture. Now, I don't use the term SJW derivatively. I think that like, or sorry, not derivatively, in a negative context here. But that's how they were referred. And when you saw leftist circles online back in that time, they were like these derisively. Thank you, Chad. They were like these incredibly insular, hyper fragile, hypersensitive communities that were completely uninterested in like optics at all. So most people's image of a feminist for 5 consecutive years was like Big Red, was like the screaming lady, you know? That was the whole image that people had. And I think a lot of the people who had that image, they're not like innately bad people. They just never saw a good left-leaning person. They never got to see a good example. So we're better about that in this respect now. The left isn't quite that bad now online, I'm happy to say, though it has its moments. But that would be an example of how, with enough public support, you can change the way in which we appeal to others. We definitely need to be appealing a lot more to, it sounds really dumb to say, less marginalized people. I think a lot of the left comes off a little bit antagonistic towards white people and men in a way that seems more driven by catharsis than by an actual pragmatic understanding of intersectional theory. That probably puts a lot of people off who could have otherwise been really strong allies, you know? So that kind of stuff. I just mean, by controlling public opinion, I just mean like, what language do we use? What foot do we put forward to look best?
And no, that's probably, yeah, no, that is probably a decent approach to take sort of left wing politics. But like maybe I'll say at least maybe some of the efficacy of something like theory. Theory can kind of like, especially like I think psychoanalysis, social psychoanalysis, at that can kind of give us some sort of ideas on what the totality is of what we're doing. Um, so maybe I would ask you, do you find like so maybe I can present this. So
Mhm.
I don't think I'll propose this. I really don't think that the sort of online debate sphere. I think it kind of alienates more than it helps. Not to say that I think debate on its own as like an abstract idea is terrible, but I do think that there are some sort of implicit things within the sphere of debate that we don't really pay attention to. And one of those things is, and I kind of alluded to this with you when we were chatting.
Mhm.
And I said like maybe the metaphysic or like how metaphysics might play has an like there's a consequence to metaphysics with politics and examining that. And I think using maybe a Marxist approach, that one of the best things that in my mind Marx talked about was the division of labor, right? And he talked about why the division of labor was so bad is it sort of pitted man versus man. And it killed what he would call like our species essence, and that species essence comes from the core sort of like idea that we are supposed to cooperate, right? And and things that sort of get in between in between that cooperation unnecessarily are things that we should probably be critical about and cut out. So I mean, so
Isn't
I
this
think
just,
you're
with all respect, I mean,
uh,
isn't this just an aversion to infighting, but sort of post hoc rationalized through theory? I understood it that the species being of humanity through Marx's eyes wasn't cooperation, but rather creative production, our willingness to modulate our environment, which is exactly what I'm trying to do. I
no,
think the
that's
online leftist environment's really terrible right now.
yeah. Do you think though by kind of like taking the sort of debate approach, do you think that there's actually like a net positive outcome from that?
Unquestionably. I get emails and DMs all the time from people who are conservatives, fascists, liberals, or tankies, which I think are indistinguishable from fascists, who are now a part of this community. If a person's already on the left, to be
So
perfectly honest, I don't really give a shit about them. They're already here. They've already been moved over. Whether or not they're upset at me is entirely inconsequential to me. What matters to me is bringing over people who aren't already on the left. And I think that right now, the rest of the online left struggles significantly in doing this, with the exception of a few people. I think ContraPoints does a really good job at this, because ContraPoints is
Mhm.
exceptionally effective at understanding her target audience and appealing to them directly. There are other people like that, of course. I just happen to be fond of ContraPoints' approach. But I don't think that the debate bro aesthetic is particularly destructive in and of itself. I think the reason why I've garnered so much controversy is because there were a lot of bad people on the left who just don't like criticism. And they stir up a muck, and then people who would otherwise agree with me see a bunch of out of context clips, and that makes them hate me even though they've never seen anything, you know?
Right. No, no, no. And I'm sure I'm not exactly. I'm not the most online person, but
That's good.
yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Absolutely. No, I think you're right. Like, but I think here, like, again, you can imagine, again, if you stirred up that chaos on the internet going after a certain content creator or talking about someone in some respect. I think, man, I really got to think we got to be careful about that, right? And it's not that these people may be like they're undeserving of criticism or stuff or something like that, but we got to think about the totality of what we're doing when we're criticizing these people.
Oh,
I
sure.
and it's not
I
you're
don't think
right.
I'm
Like
too
you,
harsh, though. I mean, I'm certainly
I
not as
couldn't.
harsh to these people as the alt-righters or the skeptic community was. I feel like usually
Right,
when
right.
there
No,
are
no, no. And
people I
it's and
criticize,
to be fair,
yeah.
it's not really it's more of like a systematic thing, right? It's sort of like the sort of structure on how online politics goes, right? Like it's not about you or Destiny or any of these individuals or who are very big on these online spheres of politics, but I think that um there is an incendiary nature in how these structures sort of operate around politics. And no, man, so far I'm not quite as confident as you, perhaps. Although you receive emails from all kinds of people, you are a much bigger content creator than I. But sort of my small interaction with, I would say, like online politics, it's not good. I'm not very impressed. It sort of really sucks, and it sucks in ways that I think that I think are sort of inflamed by a sort of um, antagonistic tonality throughout everything. Right? That seems to be kind of how content creation right now is going. That's sort of
Well,
the core of it,
I
right?
actually
Wouldn't,
get the most views and subs when I stay away from drama and just do
oh, that's
like
great.
news commentary. The problem is that I hate the rest of the online left, and I don't think we should let them get away with being able to tank our optics and our analysis just because infighting is uncomfortable. Because it is
Mhm.
uncomfortable. I mean, antagonism is generally destructive, but
Well,
it's
I think
also a
more than
process
anything, it
of
doesn't
criticism.
work.
It's a dialectical process, isn't it? I mean, they have a given
Um,
idea, a set of ideas over how things should be run, and I have my own, and I guess we'll see how it plays out in the marketplace of ideas. I've grown pretty quickly, so that seems to lend some credence to my side. A frustration I have sometimes, people will say, like, nobody's been convinced to the left by Vosh, which I don't know what kind of empirical studies they're looking for. You know, I haven't exactly gotten
oh, I
Yale
would.
to analyze the metrics that I produce or anything, but the idea that people aren't pulled over to left ideas from my stream seems to me like one which is entirely contradictory to my understanding of the impact that I've had. So it feels like just people saying it, you know, like there's no real argument there. People just don't want to believe what I do works, you know?
No, 100, right. So you're saying like sort of the introduction into like online politics will get people invested and stuff like
And
that.
to
No,
the
that's
left, yeah.
100. Yes, 150%. And that's kind of in a lot of ways it's sort of that was sort of my quote unquote beginnings in a way, right? I think that's very common for a lot of people. I think God, when I was in high school, I was, listening to like general YouTube political commentary and analysis. Um but I think sometimes though, like it's really quick that we stop there, right? I think it's sort of we approach a certain position, and in the, that position may be correct, or a field of politics may be correct, like just general leftism, and that's wonderful. I do think though we probably shouldn't stop there. We should try to experiment more. We should try to figure out ways how we can go about things. And if you said like your approach, you gain the most subs when you're not being antagonistic or whatever. I think that is the most effective approach. But if you don't, like, I'm not here to tell
Well,
you
we
what the
can't
fuck
cede
to
the
do.
space to red fascists, can we? I mean,
See
I'm
the red
not
fascist.
tankies. I'm not comfortable
I
uh,
don't. I don't. I
being a
don't think.
part of a political movement that's occupied, at least in significant part, by genocide deniers. Somebody has to
Well,
say something about it, and a lot of other lefties aren't willing to because they were also opposed to the idea of infighting. It's funny, they will infight religiously to keep me out of the left, but genocide
correct.
deniers? Well, that's whatever. We all have our opinions.
Well, I
Um,
think.
just
Mhm.
give me. I'm not trying to argue with you about this, but give me a
Sure, sure.
specific example. Like you say it's ineffective or caustic or what have you, in a utilitarian sense, like with regards to the extent to which we are positively or negatively affecting broader advocacy for left ideas online. Do you have like a thing in mind, a problem or like an idea or an approach that I've taken? Because I don't really think antagonism is a
Uh,
bad thing. I just think it's a part of change.
sure. No, but then again, too, I'm not talking about you specifically. I don't know too much about you. I probably should have probably watched some
No,
more
no, it's
content
fine. I
before I
was under
came
the
up. Yeah.
impression that because when people say debate bros on the left, they're talking about
You're
me.
attacked a lot, so I would understand that you'd probably. Yeah. No, no, no. No, I think just that's so far my understanding on how sort of debate politics goes, or honestly political analysis at large. Half the time there's like a weird simulation of what people think is politics, but really they're just talking about politics. Or and another thing I've been seeing lately is content creators simply just talking about other political content creators, and it's creates this really weird simulation of whatever. It's dumb.
No, it's
But
mostly positive. I try to have folks on when I
wait,
like them. I've liked your
you
content in the past, so I'm happy to have a friendly conversation with you.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
sometimes it's
so
antagonistic, but most of the online leftists who really dislike me are too cowardly to come on and talk about it. So the engagement with them, the direct engagement, is extremely limited. Though I do appreciate it when they actually find the courage to come on here and express some disagreement with what I do. I'm not talking about you. I mean the people
mhm,
with whom I have actual disagreements.
sure, yeah, 150%. No, yeah, I suppose we can. I suppose we can kind of sort of go from there. That's again another thing I think that can kind of spawn from this is a sort of like political hobbyism. Again, I kind of originally come from a purely political background, and that's something that
Oh, you cut out. You said that's
I
something that I.
oh, sorry, did I cut out?
Yeah, that's something that I. That's the last thing I heard.
Something that I've noticed is that political hobbyism is something, quote unquote, is probably like something that people devolve into really, really fast
Mhm.
online. And yeah, no, no, no. I think that like in a number of ways too, like with online media, that's sort of how we practice it. That's another big issue that happens. And again, truly, I hope to, hopefully, like, with what I try to do, I make video essays. You can do this in a number of ways, but again, trying to approach things more critically, maybe talk about a specific thinker or a specific work of theory, or and it goes. Another problem is I have is a lot of people who are they're not Marxist. They think that I'm just purely like a Marxist YouTuber. Theories much farther beyond just pure Marxism, but um, trying to understand the totality of what we're doing, trying to build relationships, trying to move beyond this quote unquote political hobbyism is I suppose what my goal is. But I really don't see it. It doesn't seem to be working very well online. But
Well, I don't know what you mean necessarily by political hobbyism. So, obviously, the ideal leftist advocate would be going out there and marching and protesting, donating any excess income they have to mutual aid organizations, that sort of thing. Obviously,
mhm.
most people aren't going to do that. That's always going to be a minority of a minority. But the ground level there is at least to get them involved in the ideas. When people talk about political hobbyism, I often feel as though they're not actually pushing for people to do more. They're just attacking the political hobbyists who aesthetically they happen to disagree with. Because you know
Oh
who
yeah,
never gets called political hobbyists online? Tank
who's
use don't.
that?
The online Marxist Leninists, they'll talk about, China and North Korea, what have you. They never get accused of being political hobbyists, even though these are the most online, never touch grass types you'll ever find in a political movement. But the fact that they don't get accused of being that, of being a political hobbyist, makes me worry that political hobbyism is rhetorically
Well,
synonymous with being a liberal, and to most leftists, a liberal just means a thing that I don't like. So I never really
I
know what people mean when they say that.
no, I'd probably consider um typical, maybe what you would call hammer and sickle Twitter probably are the biggest definitions of political hobbyism, honestly.
Well, you're
It's just
reasonable, so of course you would say that, yeah. But
yeah.
absolutely, yeah. These people are, oh god, they're the only group of people on Earth who I would actually like. I want them all to move to North Korea. Every North Korea defender,
Well,
I just want them to go. Just oh please God, they don't get internet access over there. We solve two problems at once. They get to live in their utopia, and I don't have to hear about it. I wish.
well, again, I try not. I think it would be wise. I don't want to approach a sort of entire group of people through a raw, cynical outlook. But I understand your sort of.
That's because you
I
haven't been
get the.
online long enough, my friend. Give it some
Well,
time.
no, I understand. No. I understand the frustration beyond like no, I do. Well, maybe not to the degree you do. You're online and you're well, that's your gig, man. And that's fine. But I'm glad I don't have to necessarily deal with that. But I think like you said earlier too, I red fascist. I don't think I would. I think if we're going to be, I think we should be as specific with our language as possible, according to at least some political theory. I really don't think most what like red fascist is that like Bolshevism or or not Bolshevism. Sorry, like Nazbolism or whatever.
Not
Like is that
necessarily, because at least Nosbles sometimes performatively express support for white workers. I think so. I'm on two minds of this because when I refer to tankies, what I feel like I'm referring to people who engage in the same rhetorical and ideological tactics as fascists do, and they're pro-social democracy, but only if the social democracy is controlled by brown people. So, for example, your average tanky will praise, say, Vietnam, which there are benefits to. There are some good things going on there. I have disagreements, but there's good social democracy going on there in some places. But if you're measuring how successful it is in that regard, it's far, far, far behind, say, Norway. But they'll call Vietnam socialist and Norway liberal, in spite of the fact that Norway is also filled with socialist parties who push for social democracy. I don't know what the difference is there, really. And there's also a very weird propensity to focus on the aesthetic of authoritarianism, the defense of states and leaders, but not of workers. I never actually see these people talk about workers. Stuff like the emancipation of the proletariat, fair working hours, anything like that, like very, very basic stuff. Stuff believed even by liberals. I mean, some liberals, social democrats fought with union organizers back at the turn of the 20th century to secure these things. They don't ever talk about these things. It's always defense of this glorious leader who's enshrined in a great tomb in the, capital of their nation, or this state and all their atrocities and genocides. And it's all very weird. And I've had enough conversations with these people, the way they engage in the genocide denialism by, well, they don't just say it, but then they say like, oh, Western media, is biased and you're only hearing their side of the story. And actually, these people deserve it because they've been warring against the nation. The Turks said this about the Kurds, too. I mean, it's a play-by-play. It's every country does this for the group they genocide. It's just some people do it for Nazi Germany and some people do it for China and the Soviet Union. It's really frustrating. But that's why I say red fascist. They don't map 100%, like 1-to-1 onto fascist tendencies, but I think they're basically like a mirror of those tendencies if you applied all of them to a different set of aesthetics, which is important, of course. Fascism is largely aesthetic. Changing the aesthetics changes a lot, but otherwise, I think it's a pretty clean transposition.
Yeah, I mean, I would okay, I suppose.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
suppose
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
politics-
like run the whole thesis down with you or anything. That's how I tend to think about it. Also, and this helps, I hate them, so I want to call them red fascists. But I feel like at least we're in the same current. Reactionary authoritarians who believe in hyper-nationalism, xenophobia, denialism of war crimes, anti-intellectualism, that sort of thing. It's just
Right. No, I get that. And I have, I don't maybe what you're referring to as well, more concretely might be people who like consider themselves like Marxist Leninists. I have issues on sort of the general sort of plane of Leninism per se, Marxism, Leninism in today's context, right? Like we've the entire our mode of production is far different than theirs was, and all number of things. But no, I personally, I would try to be careful not to. I think there are a lot of even like on. I try not to bring an aura of overwhelming cynicism again, because I think there's some people there that are they're curious, but they're tied to their symbolism. They're tied to their sort of ideological warship apparatuses. Their people, Lenin or whatever.
Mhm.
Um,
I
but
I
but
do I do
yeah,
want to say I agree with you, by the way. I do think that. I just think the same way of regular fascists too. There are a lot of ex-fascists in my communities, and a lot of them are just like, they're just like dumb teenagers, who are
well, exactly.
insecure and anxious. They get roped into a certain set of ideas, and I feel like with the right pressures, they come out. It's usually as much a neurological thing as it is a political thing. It's a combination of insecurities that
100%.
push them that way. But of course, I still have to be quite mean to fascists generally. I mean, if I wasn't, then I'd be quite bad at my job. So uh, I try to be compassionate to the individual for the most part. The attitude I always try to take is when I really disagree with a set of ideas, like a fascist, for example, not just
Mhm.
like different SOCDEM strategies for worker rights or whatever. I mean, a real disagreement. I come down hard, but I always try to emphasize, like, this is only because of the ideas that you hold. If you just took a second, if you just took a breather and didn't do this thing, just enough with the genocide denial. If we just rethought this, if we took a breath, you are as valid a person as anyone else, and there's always room for you if you cut that shit out. I always try to take that attitude. I don't know if it always sells well. Sometimes I get angry when talking to people, but that's the goal, you know?
Right. I'm with you there. I no, I'm 100% with you there. I think and that's important to emphasize that. That doesn't seem to get emphasized a lot online though, right? That there's a
Hmm.
human being like looking like behind that screen there's a person, right? And there's even though they have certain symbols or what is it what's the neoliberal emojis like that weird fucking globe or
The fucking
or
the globe emoji, yeah.
yeah, or the hammer and sickle. There's a human being behind there, and these people are anxious. They're vulnerable like you. And so I would like to think that maybe I could bring a proposition to you that hey, try to stress that a little bit more,
Yeah.
right? Maybe try not. Yeah, maybe try not to get as angry and cynical, right? Like I've been reading a lot of my headspace has been in Spinoza a lot lately. I've been reading the Ethics and I'm reading Deleuze's book on Spinoza as well. And one thing that, man, this is kind of rarely do I read stuff like, and it actually kind of like really changes my attitude on things.
Hmm.
But sort of the importance of joy, right, and communication and just in things and in life in general. And one of the things that Spinoza emphasizes is this sort of like hatred can like completely like kill your ability to be affected, right? In the his section on the affects, he means essentially like sort of emotions, but only emotions in a sense that they're like related to one another and they're going through a process. It's really abstract shit. I won't go into that. But no, I think he's completely right, right? I think when it sounds really kind of like almost like third grader, right? Like, oh, don't hurt someone's feelings. But I think it's important to try to at least minimize that. And not to say that perhaps you don't, that I just don't think online that's not the emphasis that we hear. I think we got to be a little bit more kind to each other, despite any really weird ideological shit. And that goes
Sure. Well,
to and that
for
goes to
rhetorical
people.
effectiveness, if nothing else, right?
If nothing else, I'm not as concerned with rhetorical effectiveness, but mind you, not to say that that's not important, right? I think that optics may only go so far. I think again, truly, when you can try to build relationships with people and try to connect with them, try to communicate, do stuff. I think that's a little bit more impactful. But yeah, no, sure,
Oh,
definitely.
sure, yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's really, really important, I think, to form like a proper community online. Whether we like it or not, people who are moved over politically online, whether to the left or to the right, they're moved over because they fall into the orbit of larger figures. Very rarely is it just like a community on its own. Usually a content creator is like the axis around this orbits.
Mhm.
And there are good and bad sides to that. It's very effective, rhetorically, which is important. I think it very, very important that we end up with the numbers advantage against fascists. Um, but the downside is that it can make it very difficult to breach those walls. I've always had trouble with this because there's a sort of fake placidity that you're expected to engage in when speaking with your contemporaries, other content creators, like,
Oh yeah.
oh, I love what you do, you did so great here, and I cannot for the life of me do this. If I have a problem with somebody,
Oh,
I make sure they know. It's something for which I've been criticized plenty of times. I think there's a principle to that I'm generally fairly okay with, but it can make it difficult to convince the followers of that person, like, oh, holy shit, we just got a bunch of subs. I'll check that out in a second. Um, that it can make it difficult to breach those walls, to bring people over in a forthcoming way. So it's something that I want to work on, and I want to criticize liberals more often. By the way, I feel like I so rarely have a problem because content generation is oriented around what's available to you, what's interesting to the people watching. When I go online and I see all the hate threads about me, they don't come from liberals. They come from Nazis, or they come from like the rest of the online left.
hmm.
So it's very easy to take that and run with that energy. But with like the liberal community, it's so big and it's so neutral. Like liberals, they don't, except for maybe like the K Hive, they're all, you know, they're all doing their own thing, brunching. So I'd like to spend more time lovingly yelling at them. I think that'd be nice.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, perhaps. I think that well, it depends on certainly how you go about it, but I guess everyone, you're dealing. I suppose we're dealing with a confusing like network of people. Everyone's different
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But no, yeah, I mean, definitely the whole. I personally have seen I don't really think about it. I suppose I'm trying to find words to put this into. I don't ever really think about it as in like liberals or like leftist per se. I find a lot of the definitions we use for liberal doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes, or sort of the terminology we'd use even for like leftist. It doesn't mean a lot.
I dislike labels. It's just
Yeah,
useful in the shorthand. Ideally, I'd like to never use them at all. I mean, that'd be tough, but it should all be about the ideas, right? The underlying ideas. That's why.
I
as-
think we're stumbling. I think we're stumbling across something right there. That's exactly sort of I find trying to sort of pin a certain label to a group of people again does more to alienate than it helps. I personally don't use them. That's why like a lot of people I have frustration, right, with the sort of on a theoretical level, not with like on a personal level with like Marxism, Leninism, and I
Mhm.
talk about that, which is honestly kind of funny too. I had someone in my chat who said that someone brought my name up and part of your community, and it's totally fine. They said that I was like a tanky. I was very surprised because typically I'm called a fucking lib.
Somebody
But
told me you were I know sometimes my community goes a bit off the handle, so I certainly don't get that impression from you or your content. I Yeah, I just want to say with regards to the ideas thing. So I care very much about rhetorical efficiency. Using labels can put people off. What's that old meme? Like my parents when I explain socialist ideas to them versus my parents when I use the word socialism while giving those explanations, and like
right.
their faces just fall. And I get that too. One thing that really bugs me, I guess, about the online left too, and okay, this is going to come off a little cynical, but you'll have to forgive me here. I've had a
Mhm.
lot of conversations with leftists. I mean, I've been doing this for only about 2.25 years now, but in that time, I've probably talked with about 50 or 60 leftists who disagreed with me in a contentious public manner. And I think the number of times that I had the opportunity to speak with a leftist who disagreed with me and then clarify those disagreements with a thorough engagement with basic questions like, how do we best achieve workers' rights? I think that's happened maybe once or twice. Usually it turns into some giant pissing match over who's more of a lib. And that's it's very frustrating for me. Um, because given that a lot of the lefties I disagree with online tend to be of the tanky variety, I guess I would be closer to a lib than they are, since they have abandoned the tenets of progressive liberalism. So I lose that battle, even if I feel my points are more sound. One way or another, it's something I'll try to work on more in the future, guided towards the ideas. So an improvement I want to make.
Right, and that's like I think when you again you start scratching at the surface of labels and stuff like that, you sort of instigate a core like emotional reaction, right? Or a libidinal reaction to that. There's like this sort of innate thing that happens, and their personalities switch off like that, and that happens to all of us. We have these emotional sort of ties to certain things. I wouldn't say maybe all of us. Some of us might be a little bit better at keeping that in check, but That's ultimately why there's I had another conversation again to plug the same guy. He at least helped me with this sort of language. Again, he's the YouTuber Plastic Pills, phenomenal, makes amazing videos. I was talking to him. He has the approach not to talk about politics simply because of that, and that's not quite. I wish he'd talk about it more because I think the idea that um, if we should have a conversation, try to avoid certain tag words, try to understand the totality of what's going on, right? Like even if we engage with someone politely, if we start prodding at a certain ideological sort of word or something like that, it almost like the entire discussion just disintegrates. This is again, in my mind, a little bit of talking about liberals. This is sort of my problem with it, kind of the idea of the rational subject, right? The liberal Western subject who can think about things. We need a form of sort of like rational engagement, and I think on its own, that's a good idea. I think that's fine, but it just doesn't ever typically work out like that in reality. And I think trying to find communicative ways to get around that and those emotional responses, that's one of the things that I'm kind of that my head's always in. I don't really have a lot of answers. I gotta admit, to be completely honest, but that's a lot of where my headspace is.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're all we're all trying our best is what matters most. Um, anyway, we're actually coming up on the hour, and I want plenty of time to embarrass myself with my poor gameplay.
Sure.
So I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. Seriously, it's definitely one of the better conversations that I've had recently. Um, and could you shout yourself out fully?
Yeah, sure. So, YouTube channel is Epoch Philosophy.
Epoch, not epic. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, either way works. I think you could pronounce the word both ways. Twitter, Instagram is both Epoch Philosophy, Epic Philosophy. I make sort of theory and philosophy YouTube videos on a number of topics. Typically, I'll like to take like a text and try to make the text or the book a lot easier to understand. Sometimes I'll make some video essays as well. But yeah, no, I would hope that a lot of people here who are genuinely interested in politics and political outreach and stuff like that. I think, again, I've come from a political science background. I found that critical theory at large, philosophy was a little bit better at addressing those things than what I ever would have imagined. And so I've become much more engaged with sort of that academic environment, if you will. And I hope that maybe you guys could come around, watch a video, or maybe read something of your own. And yeah, other than that, if any of you guys feel free, reach out to me. I'm always down to talk about theory. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate that.
No, yeah, thank you. No, you were very kind. I appreciate it a
I
lot.
try my best. Take care of yourself, okay?
All right, awesome. You too.
Avoid
Bye.
the online shenaniganry as much as you can, okay?
Dude, I will try my best.
I
You
believe
too,
in you.
hopefully. All right.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Nice. That was a good conversation. I'm really happy I had that. Where are my optics lovers at? Okay? I feel like I came off so not to him. It's easy to be nice to him because he's cool, but in terms of my problems with the left, I'm trying to get a lot better at delivering that, you know? I should probably stop saying I hate the rest of the online life. I should probably stop saying it. But I feel like for the most part it was fine. There were some people in chat, the way they were speaking made it seem to me as though you were under the impression that Epoch Philosophy was being a little bit defensive at times. I don't actually think that's true. You have to understand that unless you're very online, a lot of my criticisms of the left are going to seem really dumb, you know? Just keep that in mind. If you're not very online, um it can be you could be like wake up and be like, what, the tanky red fascists? Okay, and they're destroying the left. Like, it's like, you know, I think that doesn't mean I think my arguments are wrong. I think you can put them through pretty well, if everyone's familiar with them. But yeah. Anyway, it was cool. So yeah. Just can't explain them to normies. No, of course you can. It just takes a little bit more time usually. But that guy wasn't a normie at all. Just, you know, it is just a matter of familiarity. Okay, who's ready? We're gonna finish. We're going to finish Outer Wilds tonight. Now wait, I'm looking through my donations. I don't see, we got a donation here for like a bajillion subs, but I don't see it in my logs here. Where, hold on. Did the donation not get fully posted? I don't even see it in the donation thing. Where is it? It's right there in PayPal. It went through. Why does it not show up in the thing? We need to get this fixed. Wait! I'm just kidding. White does a lot of work for me. It was a joke. The way I just phrased that made it sound like I was unhappy in some way. It was Saint D, right? Yeah, it was 40 subs from Saint D. Holy shit. My Deuterino. That is incredibly fucking kind of you. I have no idea why it's not showing up properly in the feed, but the donation did go through. And so did the subs. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Sometimes the feed just doesn't pick up on everything, I guess. They said they got a raise, wanted to spread the love. Congratulations on the raise, Saint D. Thank you so much for the kindness. That is really, really, really kind of you. It's a little redundant there, but it's still true. Do you plan on playing the new Resident Evil on stream? Fuck. Yes, I do. Absolutely. Is that a joke? Okay, hold on. Let me make sure that this happened really quick. Let me just went through on the site, right? Even if it's not shown on the feed, it still went through to the... Yeah, it did. Okay, there we go. Okay, just... Sorry it didn't show proper, Saint D, but still. There are lots of donos to read. I'm going to read all of them, but I really want to finish Outer Wilds. There's only one delay that I'm going to permit before we get to Outer Wilds, and it's this, okay? This is very important that we... It's extremely important that we all share this moment together. No, stop. Ooh. No spoilers. It's Artemy. I got a video of him licking his beans.
Ooh. So impressive.
Look at him.
Wow, look at those beans. Clean beans. Yum, yum,
yum. This goes on for a while, and I'm not skipping it.
What a clean baby. Hey. Hey, Artemy. Hey, Artemy. 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 Woo. Artemy. 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 Hey, buddy. Look at me. Buddy. Artemy. Artemy. Nah. He's busy. Was that a brief moment of introspection? How gross you are?
I'm interrupting bath time.
Yeah, actually very clean, I guess, on account of all the licking.
Gotcha, Hannah.
Ooh, all done? Ooh, what a clean boy. Ooh, wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Blah, 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 blah. Clean.
Blim. The final blem. Very good. Very important. What a beautiful boy. Yeah, there's me with my... What is the difference between these two? Is it just the background that's different? Chat! It's time for you all to make an important... Oh, no, I see. It's time for you guys to make an important decision before we finish Outer Wilds, okay? We're gonna release a really cute sticker sheet, and you guys will get to choose. Okay? So these are just mock-ups, all right? Of the relative sizes of the stickers, okay? Hyena, I forget, who did these again? They're in our community. We have some wonderful, wonderful stickers with some beautiful babies present here. Yeah, we got Fat Ian. Ryoma did these. How cute is this shit, huh? And then we have this. It's been edited to increase the size. See, the stickers are bigger, but we got rid of the meat the meat emoji and the little pixel me. See? Oh no, wait. No, we got rid of the JoJo thing's over here. I see. The JoJo thing is smaller. The meat emoji got pushed up to the top right. We got rid of the pixel Vosh, probably for potential copyright reasons. This one was quickly edited. I like the proportional sizes here. Look, we have Conyer, Lizard, Pippin. Looks like people seem to prefer the bigger stickers. That's nice. Okay. Alright, one last meme. Somebody mentioned drama. Drama? On Vosh's stream. Not likely. Said Papa Gut made a video about me? I don't see it. 2 hours ago. Where is this? I don't see it. Nope, I don't see it on TikTok. I don't see anything. They said 2 hours ago. I don't see anything. On YouTube? What YouTube? Didn't he block you, though? You can use incog. Uh-oh. YouTube video. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. 16-minute video. Oh, no. Okay, here's what's happening right now, okay? Papa Gut is reacting to a video posted by a secondary channel. This isn't my channel. The Alden's Highlights, it's not my channel. It's a fan channel. And now, if I respond to this, he'll respond to my thing. So we're not going to. I'm cutting the chain off. Nah! We're cutting it off, okay? We're safe. We've been saved from the drama cycle, okay? There are more highlight channels. I have, like, 3 active highlight channels. Thermia is the OG and my good friend. We have Alden's Highlights, formerly known as Vosh Highlights, and we have Sour Bread as well. I think there might be more, too, but those are the main 3, I think. I'm fine with the existence of clip channels, but sometimes people attribute them to me, like they think I actually run those channels. But yeah. Yeah, the Vosh Extended Universe. Alden's Highlights just changed its name to Coconut Island a few hours ago. Really? That's an awesome name. Full support if that's the case. Coconut Island. Is that true? Yep, there it is. Coconut Island. Nice! I like that a lot. I completely endorse this. The Coconut Island channel gets a lot of engagement, too. Holy shit. The Papa Gut video got 20,000 views in 1 day. Holy shit. That's fine. There's a lot of stuff that I stream that I don't upload because it just doesn't seem right to upload. It doesn't fit the type of stuff that I do in my channel. So I'm okay with clip channels getting it. The only thing that I ask, of course, is that if you watch their shit, you better sub to me, motherfucker, okay? I am the original. I'm the king. What happened with that private VOD? It's nothing dramatic. Chill. Guys, according to Sour Bread, they also ask you don't clip anything 2 weeks out. Yeah, of course. I want time to make sure I get it from my channels before they jump in. Okay. Oh, it's such a good game. Oh, sorry. Okay, guys. Okay. I thought about it. I thought about it a lot. And I have 2 ideas. Sorry, I have 2 ideas on how to beat it, okay? So, in case one of the things that I say is true, don't tell me. Please don't. If you know, don't say anything. Oh my god, the Quantum Moon is right there. I have never seen that happen before. Where you wake up looking at it. What an incredibly unlikely... Why in the ever-loving fuck are all of my controls inverted? What? What? Even my movement is inverted. Moving forward moves me backwards. It's not just looking, it's everything. Okay, wait, hold on. I don't know what... How does that even happen? Yeah, let's just try again, okay? Yeah, the quantum controls. Okay, yeah, alright, let's see if we can... Sorry about the noise. It's inverted, what the fuck? What? Oh, the mode switch got hit. Okay, whatever. Just... Okay, we're fine, just... I don't know why the mode switch does that, but... Don't invert. What? Now it's... What? It's still inverted! Wait, now I don't move at all? Wait, okay, wait. You changed the settings? Yeah, back to what they were before. Okay. Not like this. There's a solution, you change settings in Steam. I shouldn't have to. It worked every other time except for this one. Hold on. Okay, I'm just gonna unplug and replug the controller in. I don't know why we're acting like this, but it's always something with this fucking game. This is a known bug with the game, just reconfig in Steam. We'll see. Right-click the name of the properties, general tab. Okay, I'll do the thing that the person in chat is saying if this doesn't work. Okay, just hold on. Okay, let's just... Give me a sec. Bosh, Hakeem calling Kurd. Yeah, I actually saw Hakeem denying the Iraqi slaughter of Kurds one time, you know? Just normal tanky things. Have a fun conversation with him in the future. And it's working. Let's go. Okay, guys. So I have 2 ideas. Let me just fix chat. There. I have 2 ideas. Let me just fix volume. Okay. Okay. I have 2 ideas. Okay? I have 2 ideas. So, we need to figure out how to get into the... We need to figure out how to get into the Ash Twin project. It's the center of everything here, including the time loop, okay? So, it's at the core of the Ash Twin. Makes sense? And it's surrounded by an impenetrable material designed to survive the blast of a star. So we're not cracking through that, okay? Not happening. However, we need to find a way to get in, because inside of this, there's a warp core that I need to power the vessel. Now, I need to take that warp core, and then I need to bring it to the vessel. The vessel takes a while to get to. You have to go all the way over to the Dark Bramble, make it through 3 layers of bramble shit, fucking fish, to get over there. And then you make it at the vessel. And then you still probably have stuff to do, okay? Which means that you have to get in the Ash Twin quickly. So, from this, I can hypothesize that entrance into the Ash Twin project has nothing to do with the passage of time. It's something that can be done immediately. You don't need to wait any length of time to do it. The ability to get there should be immediate, okay? Additionally, the ability to get in there should be something that you can do relatively quickly. You only have 22 minutes to get all this done. That's hypothesis 2. So, given that, there are a couple of ways that you can get into an impenetrable area. One of them is through a warp tower. However, every warp tower we've seen in this game points up into the sky so that when the planet rotates, you can be beamed up towards the astral body you're looking up towards. However, the core of the Ash Twin project is sealed. There's no way to look up. There's probably not a warp tower to get in there. Additionally, it wouldn't make very much sense for game design if there was some warp tower that you could use to get into the final area of the game and you just randomly stumble upon it, and I haven't seen it in all the shit that I've found. So I don't think that's the case. I have two ideas for how to get in here. The first of which is that I never actually took a look at the Quantum Moon when it was in orbit around the Ash Twins. The Quantum Moon takes the properties of the planet that it's orbiting around. That's the one version of the planet, of the moon, that I never stepped out on, the Ash Twins. It's possible that the Quantum Moon orbiting the Ash Twin would have some information. The other thing that I'm thinking of is a piece of information that never fit in with anything else. When we went to the volcanic testing site early on, and then the Namai mines, we were explicitly informed that there was ore within the planet we start on that was used to construct the core of the Ash Twin. The most advanced transportation method we recently learned of, and the only one we haven't used to an extent, has been the fact that you can stand on top of quantum rocks, turn all the lights off, and then teleport to another place they're bonded to. The ores within the mines on the starting planet are the same as the ones used in the Ash Twin project. If I go to those mines, I might be able to find some quantum item that I can use to turn the lights off on and warp into the center of the Ash Twin. That is the thing that I believe is most likely, and that is what I'm going to look to do. Now, that could be right, that could be wrong. Oh, wow. That could be right, that could be wrong. I genuinely don't know. But it's what makes the most sense to me. Also, wait, I'm getting a call? Hold on. All good. Automatic appointment reminder. You know how it is. Hello, Mr. President? Okay. Wait, no, we still want to be on the ship. Your vehicle warranty has expired, yeah. Okay, guys, I'm really excited about the potential, okay? I feel like my beliefs here make sense. We need to find the mines. They're somewhere on this planet. Not here. This is that dark bramble seed. No. Isn't it here? This is one of the ways in, right? No, that's the big geyser. Or is that one of them? Nope, that's one of the ways in. Do I want to take this way? No, I don't think I do. Let's go in through the entrance. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Don't really need our spacesuit, but we will need the thrusters to get on top of any rocks we find. Thankfully, we have a device to help us find quantum fluctuations. That's the quantum moon. Over there. Cave shard, but that's on a different planet. Wait. Quantum moon's over there now. If anybody in chat provides any information about the game, mods ban them. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Museum shard. I don't think I can turn the lights off in the museum. Grove shard. Grove shard. We'll go further in. The only way you can warp on top of a quantum object is if there is no light in the area. Which means anything outside is not going to work. feeling I'm just not going to be able to look at chat during this. That sucks, but you guys have no self-control. Okay. That's the museum shard. That's the Grove shard. But they're both on the other side of the planet. Is there anything in here? Oh boy. Alright, here we are. Down near the base. The Quantum Moon. Museum shard. I don't see anything here except for the museum shard and the Grove shard. No, I don't see anything here. Damn, this might not work. Nope, there's no quantum material inside this cave. We'll check other quantum objects and see if we can warp out through there on this planet, and then we're going to... And then we're going to, go to the Quantum Moon. I want my jetpack! It's not the museum shard. How could it be? The lights are never off in there. But maybe I should try. Uh-oh. Ah! Got a light switch in here? Thanks for preserving me through the time loop. Yeah, no, we're under the night sky. We'll try out the Grove shard. It's on the other side of the planet, isn't it? Alright. Goddamn fucking fucking spherical bodies. Here. We're going there the traditional method. Oh boy. The traditional method. The Grove shard. It's down now. This Grove? Is it in here? Hello? Yeah, that's a Grove shard. But we're outside. There's light on. There will always be light. Even during the night. It's pretty bright. It's not here. Damn it! Now we go to the Quantum Moon. I'm really confident it's that quantum entanglement shit that lets you do it. I'm so confident that's what's gonna work. I'm really, 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 really confident. Fuck this, God. I appreciate the fan art, but we're playing a game right now. In moderation. Remind me when I'm doing donos, if you're still around. We have to go to the quantum moon. There it is. Let's-a go. Let's-a go. There it is. All right, pull in, pull in, pull in. Politics stream tomorrow, yeah. Oh my god, tomorrow we're finally doing physical therapy for my back. 7:30 a.m. appointment. Christ. That's there earlier than I've been up for a long time, but it was the closest I could get. And then I'm coming back home. We have fucking politics to do. Oh, Corona. Ugh. Orbital mechanics. Wait, how is this? What? How was it? How's that working? I don't know how. The logistics there are not making sense to me, but we have our velocity. Down? Whoa, we're coming in a little hot there, huh? We wanna... What are we doing? Why do we just bounce? Hello? Okay, just let me out before this thing flies off. Giant's Deep pulls you off it? Oh, really? The gravity of Giant's Deep pulls you off this? That's so cool. Roll the dice! There it is. Okay. The quantum moon is now in orbit over the Ash Twins, and the quantum moon adopts and mimics the physical qualities of the planet that it's orbiting, which means I might be able to get some kind of hint as to what needs to be done. That's so creepy. Yeesh. Jump in it. Just a little bit of sand. There, I'm afraid, is Solarium, our likely deceased friend. Solanum, sorry. So, we're being blocked off the other half of the planet, which means we're gonna have to do a little bit more warping. Let me just run a circle around to make sure there are no exits or entrances I'm missing. Oh god, too fast! Take me down! Why does the music here have to be creepy? Nobody asked that to happen. Okay, gotta get a little closer to the northern pole. We're gonna take the Dark Bramble path. In spite of Dark Bramble being the scariest regular planet, I actually find it one of the more soothing Dark Moon planets. You know? I don't know, this doesn't feel as bad to me? Maybe it should. It just doesn't. I don't know why. We need to find an open area so the temple can spawn in now that we're past the equator. Here we go. This should be enough space. Hello? Incorrect, mods. This is how we deal with drama frogs. There's the 6th location. Come on. There we go. Wait, there's another big equatorial belt. Does that really go the whole way round? Huh. Well, now we're at the North Pole of the Ash Twin. Well, of the Quantum Moon, while above the twins. I really do find this quite creepy. Big valley. Or a canyon, maybe? A canyon. Damn it. Nothing. What's the objective right now? Chat! Fill the newcomers in. Be kind. Or I will not be. Because I am trying to focus. No. This quantum moon holds no information for me. Whoa! Forgot that can happen. Okay. The quantum moon is not the solution. There was like a delay on my shock there, too. I know. That was like a solid 200 millisecond ping going on right. I saw it. Ah! You know? What now? Okay. I need to find more quantum objects. I think that the quantum entanglement is the solution. I think that's the solution. Read ship notes? We have read ship notes. We'll read them again one more time, though. Here is the Ash Twin project. The central chamber inside Ash Twin was physically sealed off by an immensely thick protective shell. The Namai planned to construct technology capable of producing a 22-minute negative time interval on Ash Twin. Every memory recorded by a Namai statue is transmitted to a corresponding storage unit within Ash Twin. An advanced warp core was approved for installation in the central chamber of Ash Twin. And then the connected facts we have are here. High Energy Lab. The Namai successfully reproduced the temporal anomaly first observed at the White Hole Station. Warped objects appear to arrive before they depart. The Namai discovered they could increase the negative time interval between arrival and departure by adding energy to the warp cores. The Namai wanted to know if a 22-minute negative time interval was possible. They concluded it would require new technology to produce the necessary energy as well as an advanced warped core to handle those energies. Ash Twin was proposed as the location for the project. And we have this. The Black Hole Forge. A warp tower's alignment point is not at its warp receiver. Rather, a warp tower always aligns with the center of its corresponding astral body. The warp receiver must be located on, or in close orbit around, the relevant astral body. The hourglass twins are so close together they function as a single astral body with a shared alignment point between them. All the warp towers were being constructed on Ash Twin, while the 6 warp receivers were being constructed at different locations. A Namai named Poke was successfully forged in advanced warp core for the Ash Twin project. Hold on. Shit, this means something, doesn't it? Information here is relevant. I'll look at it in a second. Then we have the Namai mines. Again, the fact that they specifically inform us that the shell was constructed out of materials mined from our planet is very auspicious. And then the statue workshop, which describes, I remember this just describes the way they transfer memories across a time loop. Okay. The quantum entanglement thing feels like the right answer, but the way it talks about the warp point being aligned between the 2 planets, The warp receiver must be located on or in close orbit around the relevant astral body. The hourglass twins are so close together, they function as a single astral body with a shared alignment point between them. That means that if you were to warp to the hourglass twins, would it warp you to a point between the two planets? It would warp you to the gravitational center between the two planet system. But that can't take us to the core of the ash twin. Not unless we destroyed the ember twin somehow, but I don't think that's possible for us. Fuck, so much to think about. I want to take a look at my quantum entanglement theory a little bit more. Any relevant quantum fluctuations? Do you want a mechanical clarification of what they're saying? Nope, I don't want anything. That is the cave shard inside... Okay, well, if we're going to take a look at another potential quantum entanglement solution, it seems like the natural solution would be one of the ones on the hourglass twins, right? Oh wait, don't crash. Don't crash, please. Okay. There's a cave shard in here. But wait! The cave shard in the Ember Twin, that's the one we took. That's the one we learned about quantum entanglement from. No, that's not it. That cave shard that we went was the place that taught us about quantum entanglement. Yeah, that's the OG. And there's nothing quantum on the Ash Twin. No. I have to think. There has to be. Shit. What other quantum signatures are there around here? There's the island shard on Giant's Deep. I don't know why it would be that. That doesn't make sense to me. That's Timber Hearth, Museum Shard. The Tower Shard over on Brittle Hollow. The Quantum Moon is over there. Anything else? Looks like we're lagging out again. Oh. Island Shard. Museum Shard. Well, I'm sorry about the lag we're seeing, guys. Don't know what that's about. It can't be a quantum solution. Well, for those of you who can see me, hold on, I'm gonna pee. There you go, it's fixing. Okay, we seem to be back. Welcome to all the people who didn't leave, and welcome back to all the people who left and then came back. Yeah, there's no... There aren't any... There aren't any quantum signals in the solar system that I haven't already accounted for. It doesn't make sense. Grove Shard, Museum Shard. How close are we to chat? Marco! We're a while off, aren't we? Oh, a few people seem to be watching on time. Okay, we're getting a little close to the sun here. Is chat just permanently delayed now? No, you'll all catch up eventually. If you choose to. If you're watching, you can hit the little live button, YouTube and the website in the bottom left, and it'll catch you up as best as it can. Eventually, you'll be resynchronized. Anyway, I have been searching for quantum fluctuations around the solar system, and unfortunately, there is nothing here. Wait! Hold up. Wait a minute. What about the probes? Not the probes, the ships. There's one of them on the quantum moon, and there's one of them... Well, there are two of them. One of them's on the quantum moon. There are 3 things we can do with those ships. Oh god, people are still pulling. There are 3 things that we can do with those ships. Fuck. I need to see something. You really need an emote-only mode? Goddamn right. So there are 2 ideas that I have right now. The quantum idea can't work because we've already accounted for all the quantum signatures in the solar system. So that's just not gonna fly. There are 2 unexplored avenues then. One of which is to find out some way of decoding the puzzle that is warping to the Hourglass Twins. This whole central point and all that. I want to learn more about that. You recently passed a cave shard with that work? No, I've accounted for that. I know what that one does and where it goes. There's a tower shard in here, but... Hold on. But these probes... Chat, do you guys understand what I'm saying? The people who have played this game, the people who haven't. Do you all understand what I'm saying? The solution we're looking for necessarily has to be something we couldn't have accidentally stumbled into earlier. I mean, it has to be. It wouldn't make sense if you could just accidentally find yourself at the center of the Ash Twin Project. It's like, oh, well, yeah, here you are. These probes, or these ships, these miniature ships, look, you can pull them back. Is it the other one? You can warp them back like this. There we go. And you have 3 buttons here. The center one None of these do anything. Oh, well, there we are. The left one warps you into space. The center one pulls you back to the landing pad. They just don't do anything here. The right one does nothing. Why would it do nothing? That does something. Oh, look at that. We're headed towards the Hourglass Twins. How auspicious. That was kind of creepy. Don't know if that's how that was supposed to look. What does this mean? Does this rotate the ship? It just turns us around? Is that it? We're gonna crash. There we go. Okay, we're well away now. And if we... It tries to land us on the quantum moon. That's what it does. How much time do we have? Not long. Which one is this? Okay, this is the one that was pulled from the... Damn it! Of course. Try again. Unknown now? Try again. Every time we warp back, there's some new graphical technique. This ship is the one that was on the quantum moon. This is Solarim's ship. We know that now. If we head off... What was her name? We're not getting an orientation. Solanum, thank you. That was close. Is it because the quantum moon is too far away? I don't know where it is. This is fucking excruciating. I'll ban you too. Watch me. Last goddamn time I'm playing a puzzle game around you dipshits. Well, it's actually stopping our forward movement right now. Does that mean the quantum moon is behind the planet, or is it just trying to land us here? Can we continue going forward? No, we're going to crash quite quickly, too. Wow. Well, we're following it to the Whitehall station. Let's fucking go! Take me with you! Nicely done. Even out here, huh? No? I love the way the screen distorts like that. Sadly, we are not getting what we want done here. I think it just tries to make you land. Possibly. Maybe it just tries to make you land on the closest orbital body, and the quantum moon just happened to be at that time. Possibly. I want to test that one more time. Also, there's another probe, isn't there? No, those are panels. Escape pod 3. It's in the bramble. Where was the other escape pods? Which was badly damaged. No, that's not the information we're looking for right now. Oh, that's interesting. There used to be a little asterisk over the hanging city, but it's not there anymore. The information there which is relevant might no longer be. Where was that? Shuttle. Solanum shuttle. But there's another shuttle, isn't there? The other shuttle is on the comet. Huh. All this information. Let's see. Yes, the Ember Twin has the warp point for the other shuttle, the one that's in a glacier on the comet. God damn it. Well, I'm sorry about the internet issues. I don't know what's causing that. Designs for each of the towers on the Ash Twins equator. The Ember Twin The Ash Twin does have a pair of towers for the Ash Twins. The towers allowed the Nomai to quickly travel between Ash Twin and all other locations crucial to the Ash Twin project. Well, that would have to mean including into the core, right? Maybe that's it? The White Hole Station was used as a model for these towers, which were built for the Ash Twin project. The towers. Those twin towers. Oh, jeez. Never mind. Once the shell was finished, the Nomai checked to ensure there were no longer any physical entrances or cracks. Yeah, none of that. We never did much on the moon, did we? The quantum shard at the tower. Where is that? Guys, this quantum shard that's on Brittle Hollow, is it in complete darkness? It doesn't look like it is. It looks like it's exposed to the surface.